Well, good morning, guys.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with SLR.
How are you guys doing today?
You guys, I got my partner back today.
Yep.
Yeah, today's going to be a really good day, friends. We've got a lot planned, and today is an absolutely beautiful day to get it done.
It's going to be a gorgeous day. It's got a little bit of clouds out there, so it's going to be nice and cool and overcasty.
Cool.
I'm hoping that it will stay that way. You know what I mean? I mean, it's been a hot scorcher one the last couple of days.
It has. And you know what? The clouds are so welcome right now because at least with the cloud coverage, you're not having that like direct beaming sun. It is still going to be very humid though. But you know what? I will take it. I will take it because we're not having that beaming sun.
It's pretty nice. I definitely feel like my body has gotten a lot more used to the humidity than what it was in the beginning. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny is I was talking about like the heat yesterday on Real Talk. I was talking about how the heat is very different from being in the desert versus being out here, and how when we lived in the desert, we could deal with 117. And when I would hear people talking about, oh my gosh, it was 98 degrees, I was dying. And I'd be like feeling like I was so tough, right? I'm like, oh, you only deal with 98? Well, I deal with 117. And I'm sitting there like puffing my own ego, thinking that like I'm so tough, but like in all reality, 117 and like 98 are like on par with each other because of the humidity.
Yeah.
But I just never understood it because I never lived it, but now I live it and now I get it. So my ego's deflated.
Yeah. Before we moved out here, I thought I understood how humidity was,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I did live in Idaho where, it wasn't the part of Idaho that we lived in or whatever. It was still desert, So, but it was still more humid than it is, say, in, like, Nevada or Arizona,
I don't consider Idaho Falls desert. Like, we went out there and it is so not desert. You guys got like rivers going through there, big old creeks and everything. There's trees.
Yeah.
I will say though that Idaho Falls is very flat, right? And it's surrounded by the mountains. And you do have to go through areas of sort of desert.
Well, it's technically high desert.
I mean, it just doesn't remind, when I think of high desert, I think of like Moses and Polly.
No,
and I think of like where we lived in Arizona, and I think of like creosote bushes and juniper trees, and
they're out there.
I know, but there's so much there's so many other beautiful trees where like the high desert, that's the only trees you're getting. Yeah, So like you are right though. I just don't consider it.
No, I know, and
personally.
most people, like even me, I didn't really think of it like that as a kid, and as I got older and older, and like the trips that we would take back and forth from Nevada and out there and everything else like that, I started clicking a little bit more, and then like looking at a geographical map and then like showing like the desert aspect or the desert regions on a map. It technically is part of that desert region.
It's like on the very foothills, right? It's like the foothills of the forest meets the desert. Is like, I know what you're talking about when you're looking at the I think it's a topographical map. It's the one where it shows the mountain ranges
where
and it shows it's in color, right? And it shows the height and elevation. And when you're looking at it, you can see either all brown or all green, right?
Well, like if you think of like Yellowstone too, like the national park and all that, like where the geyser is and everything else like that, it's pretty
brown.
It's pretty desolate. It's a wasteland basically. You know what I mean? And like when you think of a desert, it's basically a desolate wasteland. You know, in a sense of like there ain't nothing there and there ain't no life.
Struggle for life. Struggle for life. Struggle life reclaimed.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I want to go see that one day, babe. That's got to be a trip that we do eventually.
Eventually we will do that. We did get the trailer able to, get pulled by Tiny.
Yes.
So that's a big one right there. That's a huge one.
Yeah, that's going to open up so many adventurous doors for us. And actually, when we were coming back from Gary's birthday weekend, we were talking about like a future trip that we want to take after things settle down here and we finish building the house, right? So maybe next summer or the summer after that, but sometime before our kids are grown, which is happening oh so quickly before our eyes. So it will have to be soon, but at the same time, not soon.
Nope.
But anyway, we want to take I want to take an East Coast trip before we do a West Coast trip, just because we grew up on the West Coast. I've been to all of the entire West Coast, from Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Montana, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Nebraska, and I think that's as high up as I went right there, because after that, then there's the Dakotas. And I've never been to the Dakotas, but you have.
I have. And I've been to Connecticut.
Yeah,
like
that's as far east
Rhode
as
Island
he's gone.
New Jersey, and it's all pretty much right next to each other. And
very small
I just
states.
drove through them.
Yeah. And I've been to Florida. Well, we've both been to Florida. You've been to Florida too, right?
Nope.
And so but everyone that I know that's from the East Coast always tells me Florida doesn't count, And I think it counts. I mean, shoot, it's got the Atlantic and the Gulf on it. I mean, I've been in both the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf, right?
I consider Florida to count. And the main reason why I say that is because if you take Florida and you just move it all the way north, it takes up the whole East Coast in a sense.
Yeah, it takes up a big chunk, right? It takes up a big chunk.
Florida's a huge part of the East Coast.
Yeah.
And you can't take it away and say, no. That's like, saying, California doesn't count if you go to the West Coast. It's like
wait a minute.
Good portion of the West Coast.
That's like half of the coast. Well, we were talking about taking a trip, and we really want to do this with the kids, because the kids have been with us for the majority of those trips, right? And they've seen so many states. But one thing on my bucket list is I want to go to all 50 states. Now, Alaska is probably going to be the last on the list because it's so far out there. But we have been to Hawaii, so we can count that one as already kind of done. I'd like to go back again, but we can count that one as done. But Alaska will probably be one of the last ones.
I would like to go through Canada to get up to Alaska. Yeah,
and that would be quite a journey for sure.
That would be fun.
But we want to take our pop-up camper. Call us crazy, but I mean, hey, we did it in a car in a Hyundai Accent, right? So if we could do it in a Hyundai Accent with 3 kids, we could definitely do it in tiny with a pop-up camper. That's way more luxurious than what we did last time. But I would love to take an East Coast trip and also go see the northern states, because I've never been to any of the northern states besides Montana, North Idaho, and Washington. Which those are northern states. I get it, but it's still West Coast. It's the Pacific Coast, or what do they call it? Pacific Northwest, right? Yep. So and that's beautiful, a gorgeous part of the country. But I really want to go see the Great Lakes, and I would love to go see Maine and go see the lighthouses up over there, and I want to see the Carolinas. And believe it or not, as much as I want to stay far, far, far away from cities, I do want to see New York City. I just want to see it once. I don't want to live there. I don't want to hang out there, but I want to see it. I'd love to see the Statue of Liberty, and all
the monuments that are around.
Yeah, go see Plymouth Rock.
The East Coast definitely has a lot more history in the sense of United States history.
Yeah,
I would say. And I know the West Coast technically has some pretty old, historical things out there and whatnot, from the Mayans era and the Aztec era.
Yeah, those are that's Native history or Native American history type.
So there's quite a bit of history out there, and a lot of it unfortunately is getting it's sort of suffering on the West Coast in that sense, because it's just going away. It's dwindling away, or people are destroying it in a sense. And I want to go out and see these things before it gets it's gone. We can't see them anymore.
Yeah. And the thing is with the West Coast, the West Coast is still a baby in the terms of the United States. Correct. It's only not even 200 years old realistically. I mean, it was the 1800s when the gold rush, right? And I want to say it was the late 1800s. So it's like not even 200 years old, right? For the West Coast, for the majority of it.
The gold rush and the Hoover Dam project is what really
pushed the West Coast.
The West Coast. Now,
the Hoover Dam project was almost 100 years ago because it was the 1930s. So it was almost 100 years ago.
1929, I want to say.
Yeah, and I think it was like the 1933 or 35 it was finished. They did it pretty quick.
Yes, I want to say that's correct.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Hold us on.
Yeah, don't hold me. I know, shame.
It's hard to,
we lived in Boulder City, shame, but...
I'm trying to think. I want to say it was 35.
I think it was too. It was somewhere in there. I don't know.
Or 38.
I know it was the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
But that pushed a lot of people over towards the West Coast, right? Because more infrastructure, trade, the ease of stuff. But other than that, it was just the Wild West. Cowboys. Yeah. It was cowboys, staking claims and stuff. And
after the cowboy era and whatnot like that, I mean, the cowboy era lasted for a very long time on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until like the 50s, 60s, like when they started going away, and there's still quite a little bit.
Oh, they're still, but man, they're still cowboys.
I mean? No, yeah, they're still, but not as prevalent in those eras, like what your dad was telling us, living out in Vegas and
riding his horse down
to the bar and then
getting plastered and falling over the top of it,
jumping onto the horse, slapping its on the butt, and then take you home. And
back in the day when Las Vegas had dirt roads,
that would be insane. Trying to think about that kind of stuff and all.
Those are true stories that my dad used to tell me from back in the day.
It's pretty insane thinking about those certain aspects, you know. But and then the mob and all that. All the stuff and whatnot.
See, well, my dad was born in 1943, and he moved to Las Vegas in the 1950s. And he actually was born in Connecticut and spent a lot of time in Illinois as well. Or I'm sorry, not Illinois, Indiana. And then his family moved out to Las Vegas, and he pretty much lived in Las Vegas for the majority of his life. He spent several different parts of time. He spent some time in California. He spent some time in Alaska. But the majority of the time that he lived in Las Vegas.
No.
But there were certain pockets and periods of his life where he found himself being like a lumberjack and a miner out in Alaska, or a panning for gold and stuff. And California, that's when he got into like the hotel industry and everything. So I don't know. And then he ended up, back in Vegas, and crazy.
No.
But anyhow, we were talking about going over and doing like our trip, right? We want to do an East Coast trip because this is parts of the country that we've never been to. I've been to more than half of the United States. I'd have to sit there and count them all. I want to say I've been to like 30 of the states. But there are a bunch of them on the East Coast, and they're all so teeny tiny. So you can go and see like a bunch of them. You could drive through them at least in a day. But I'd want to spend some time, at least an hour or two, poking around, and seeing some spots. But I got a few different destinations on my list. But I'd like to make it all the way up to Maine.
Yep.
Now, when I was younger, I did the one on California. So basically, you ride that, and it's the whole California coastline, right? And I've done it all the way up to from like the very southern California all the way up to basically Oregon. But I never rode it all the way up through Washington. I've been to Oregon, I've been to Washington, spent lots of time in both of those states, but I never rode like the entire coastline. Maybe that'll be something we do like again eventually when we get older. Maybe when we make it to Alaska, we'll ride it all the way down to California from Alaska. That'd be kind of cool. But I'd like to do that trip on the East Coast. And I don't know what highway it is, but I guarantee you there's a highway that you can take from like the Keys of Florida and go all the way up to Maine, right? That'd be a really cool, beautiful ride, something that I've never seen before and something that I've always wanted to do. And
that would be pretty cool.
I think that it would be something for my bucket list. And I'd like to then of course, kind of swirl around and go see Niagara Falls. And then maybe go on down over and see the Great Lakes and stuff. What a wonderful trip that would be.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. And I'd love to take the kids along for it. I just,
I would even continue swinging down the way and go see Mount Rushmore.
Heck yeah. I want to
Swing it all
definitely
the way
see
back
Mount
around.
Rushmore.
You know?
I definitely want to see Mount Rushmore before, something happens to it or
something, right? I
You
mean,
never
that's
know.
what I'm saying. It was like, man,
hey man, there could be an earthquake and a head could
it
fall
could
off.
be.
You know what I mean?
You never know what the heck, So I would be pretty cool to go and see these things,
I would like to. We've always been kind of like, we have our home and our homestead here, our home base, but Gary and I have always been very adventurous and been travelers and been people that love being out on the road and to explore and to see things and stuff. And our home is here. This is where we've settled. This is where we're going to be forever and ever. Amen. However, that doesn't mean that we're only going to be here.
No.
And we're never going to go and explore things, because that's still very much a part of us, and it like lights a fire in us, and we got to do that. We have to do that. Otherwise, we'll just start losing bits of ourselves. But
yeah.
For the time being, we got to keep that laser focus. We got to keep on pushing forward with what we got going on here. So it is a nice home base. And so things are automated. And so things are good for us. So we can go and do the traveling. It all works together in a big circle, right?
Yeah. It's been pretty good, though.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good. Today's going to be a good day.
We're
going to keep on rocking with it and keep rolling with it.
Oh, yeah.
Getting some things checked off the good old list.
Yep.
We got the
mighty long list.
A lot of things to do. So,
yeah,
just never ending.
It is never ending.
That's the great thing though about being on a homestead. You never be bored.
That's right.
There's always something to do.
That's right. There is always something you can do. There's always something needs fixing, something that needs mending, something that you could replace, something that you can create, something that you can explore. And some things that you can just relax and enjoy. There is always something here, never-ending possibilities.
Yep.
Like, I love to think of the 41.36 as my own little personal wonderland.
Exactly.
And it reminds me, the song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Which one?
the most famous one, Pure Imagination.
Okay, yeah.
Right? This is my pure imagination right here, this place. And I really, truly look at it that way. And with every season that comes, it brings something new. And that's one thing that never gets old for me. And yeah, it's a struggle sometimes when we're dealing with certain seasons and it's just bogging us down with rain, and we got all this stuff we want to do and we can't because of that. And then on certain days when the sun is just beating you up, right? But I love the fact that everything is in a constant motion. Oh, look at the beautiful hummingbirds. Squirrel. The hummingbird is sitting there, coming and getting
getting some nectar.
Right. But I love that everything is in a constant motion around here. It doesn't get stagnant. It's definitely not boring. And with the changing constantly occurring like that, there's always something to explore, see, do, create. And it makes me feel very inspired, like within myself, and I don't know.
No, I hear you on that.
Yeah, I love our property. I'm so happy that we moved here to this particular place with this gorgeous view. I'll take the weather, it's okay with me.
No, it's definitely beautiful, man.
It is.
I can't believe how nice it is today.
Yeah, today's wonderful. Yesterday was so hot, guys. So hot. I ran my errands and stuff in town. I got the dogs completely treated and they got baths and stuff again.
Yep.
The house, like the Orkin people, they sprayed and did everything inside the house. So I'm not really too worried about the fleas inside the house. The dogs were infested. I'm not going to lie. They were. But I'm not really worried about our furniture. We don't have any carpets in there except for the ones that like I could pick up and literally put it in the washing machine, which I'm doing. And the Orkin people like took care of the inside of the house, so I'm really not worried about that. But it was...
I have some stuff that I can throw out in the yard.
Yeah, they did that though.
Did they throw stuff out in the yard?
They sprayed the yard or whatever. They sprayed the yard. I told them that I really need them to take care of it. And then, I went and I got the medicine for the animals yesterday. Mm-hmm. And I did the cats. I did the dogs. I will say the Itchy and Scratchy show isn't so itchy and scratchy today. It did take a little while for it to start getting into their system. Like I gave them the medicine yesterday when I came home, and they were kind of still scratching until like dinner time. I started noticing them not really scratching so much. But today I haven't really seen them scratch at all. So that's great. They're dying off, which is awesome.
I hope they do.
Yeah, yesterday when I was out and about doing all of the errands, though, I did pop into Walmart and I got the kids a little something special.
Yeah.
So it's been so miserably hot, and we've been worried about the freaking E. coli, right? Now, we let the kids usually go down and play in, like, the creeks and stuff because it's flowing water. It's not, yucky.
Not stagnant or anything.
And the kids like to go down to our pond, but because of the worry and we haven't had anything tested and, like, the water just doesn't look nice.
Doesn't look the best right now in the ponds. I mean, because we haven't had so much or any rain, really, in the last couple of days. I mean, before when it was raining a lot, it was all good for like a couple of days.
Well, it was, but it wasn't because that much rain pushed a lot of stuff into the pond, right?
That too, yeah.
And then I'd say like the last 4 days or so, we haven't had any real rain or anything. Anyway, it looks nasty down there. So I was like, I don't really want the kids swimming in there. I know all of the lakes and stuff around us, they say has that, and I just don't really trust it. The water doesn't look very good, so I don't want to swim in it. Long story short, I ended up popping into Walmart and I got the kids like one of those 10-foot long inflatable 3-ring pools. Just a little dunking something for them to sit in, right? And get nice and cooled off. We have the big pool, but we just don't want to set up the big pool right now because I think I've talked about it, but we need to get a creepy crawly. And so that way it'll keep it clean for us. And we need a sand filter for the pool.
I know we have a sand filter for our well, but we need it for the
pool. Because it takes so much effort and energy for us to keep it clean. So that way we could actually use it. And right now we just don't want to spend the energy or the money on the chlorine and yada yada. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get the kids this little $25 little cheapo, blow it up. Fill it up with water, no chlorine needed. There's your pool, dunk it in, get cooled off, right? And then I figure as the water gets dirty every few days or so, I can just drain it and fill it back up again. Yeah. And we got that all set up for the kids yesterday, and they had a really great time swimming. I got them one of those little like hook it up to the hose, and it's like this long sprinkler thing with a bunch of little like strings sticking off of it, and they go wee and spray around. So I got the kids some water stuff so that way they're not so roasty toasty out here. Yeah. But they were having a good old day yesterday, man. Swimming, playing with the chalk, just running amok out here in the back.
Yeah, they were having a good old time.
Yeah, they like wore themselves out though, man. I can't believe they're still asleep.
I mean, I can.
It's summer.
It's summer. They're worn out, man.
Yeah, but I imagine today it'll just be chaos again, I'm sure, of just the wee, in and out, and Wyatt's been coming over and swimming and playing with them, and they sure have been having a great summer.
It's been a good one.
Yeah. I'm looking at that pool. We have that pool set up on the concrete so that way it has a nice flat bottom and it won't pop,
We got some of it in the shade.
Just a little bit of it in the shade.
It gives them a little spot to recluse into the shade but still be in the water. And, it's a nice little spot.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to probably dunk in that thing today.
Yeah, we might jump in it ourselves just to cool off, right? We got a lot of stuff we want to do outdoors today. I did get some of my promo stuff done yesterday, but I got some more that I need to do today because we have been blessed beyond belief with some wonderful partners that are working with us, and they take a little bit of time, to do some of these things, some of these recordings, even though like the integrations are only like a minute or
whatever it is, right?
2 minutes or whatever, however long my contract is with them, right? The filming of said 2 minutes might take us 2 hours. And then there's the studying and the preparation, charging things or whatever, setting things up. Yeah. Building things to use things. It's a tremendous blessing. Like I am so thankful, so thankful that we have the opportunity to work with different partners. But that's partly what I was doing yesterday after I got home and like Gary and me set up the pool, and then I put all the stuff away, got the animals treated, and I did do some of my sponsor work, but we need to do more of it today.
Yeah. Get it finished.
Yeah.
Then we can check that thing off and keep on rolling.
Yeah. And I'm excited though, guys. Like, I am so excited to work with some of these things and to use these things because, man, they're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to show you all of it and tell you guys all about it, but you'll just have to wait for some upcoming videos and check it out there. But we are blessed beyond belief. I am so thankful and so grateful that we have these opportunities and that you guys continue to watch us and support us. Give us your guys' encouragement. Spend your time with us. Your time is so valuable, and it's an honor that you guys share it with us.
It's been a really, really good time.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited. I'm super happy with what's coming.
Yeah, me too. But we do have to get moving on it, though, today, friends. I can't believe we've already been sitting here yapping with you guys for this long, but we do got to get moving on it, and I want to enjoy the time while the clouds are still out. I have a feeling that here in an hour or so, they're going to move and it's going to be blasted sunshine.
I guess, would that be a negative onto it so that it would be a positive? That actually is the outcome?
What do you mean? I'm confused.
Anytime we're like, oh, it's beautiful, it's going to be beautiful, and it clears up like that, but you're saying that it's going to clear up and it's going to be sunny. So does that mean it's going to be beautiful and stay cloudy?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, maybe it will. Actually, believe it or not, we got some thunderstorms on the agenda.
I know. There's a few.
I don't think it's actually going to rain, but I do think that because the thunderstorms and stuff are in our area, I think that we're going to keep the cloud coverage. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping for it. I
Yeah.
hope that didn't just jinx the other jinx.
No.
On the jinx, right?
No. No. I rebuke it. I rebuke it.
Well,
But we are going to run, though, friends. Thank you for spending your morning with us. We're going to jump back on here tomorrow and hang out and say hey and show you guys a few things that we've been working on and that we got going on in the background. And maybe we'll take you on a walk tomorrow morning.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we'll go see some of the back spots, and I'll bring a trash bag with me because all of these storms, friends, have been blowing stuff around from our neighbors, from us, right?
Yeah.
We've got like the trash can and stuff, and I noticed that like it got left open the other day, and I don't know if that was because of the kids or maybe a raccoon got in there. I don't know. I don't think they can lift that whole lid thing.
A bear could have gotten in there too.
Yeah, I don't know. Something got in there, and like there's some trash that needs to get picked up. And I know it's been blowing around again from the neighbors' abandoned building, and then also from us and our children and animals and stuff. So maybe we'll go on a walk tomorrow, and I'll bring a bag with me. Yeah. We can just do like, ooh, get out of here, shoo. We could do a pickup day while we walk around, make it a twofer.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see what we can get into tomorrow. But thank you guys for spending your morning with us. We're going to get on with today. Love you guys. And until the next one, we hope you have a good one.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, you guys.
Later.